So, do you remember anything about like the civil rights movements, like Rosa Parks and?
Yeah, I remember, that well, that didn't happen in my time, I don't think, but I know there was a lot of talk about it.
Yeah, 'cause like
They didn't want blacks to use certain washrooms or
Yeah.
sit at the counter, and they didn't want her, I know about her, they didn't want her to take this bus and she wouldn't get off.
Yeah, she like had to move to the back or
Right,
something.
but she never gave in to them.
Yeah, this was like around the 60s, like when all this big civil rights stuff was going on, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, did you think did you think it was a good thing that they were gaining their rights and like?
Yes, I certainly did. I mean, I can't say this, I don't want to go on TV. I'm not, I think that a lot of black people are mistreated. Some of them aren't living up to what the creeds of this country, what they should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. And I had some experiences in the hospital, not me personally, when I worked as a nurse. I don't want this to go on to these girls, having babies, one after another and getting abortions.
Did you did you know anyone that, like, I know it was like a hard thing for like people of the older generation around that time to like get used to the idea of everyone having equal rights. Did you know many people like that, or did most people that you knew, like,
There were no black people where we lived. So the first black people that I encountered was when I went to New Jersey. And there were several black persons now that worked in the hospital that were just wonderful. One of the best physical therapists was black, and a social worker there, yes, they were very nice. But then the other side of the coin, there's someone didn't do anything,
Do you think that John F. Kennedy did like a good job as a president, like supporting
Definitely.
this?
I'll tell you a story about him. Let's see, we were living in Richfield Park, New Jersey then, when he was a young senator, and I used to read about him, and I thought, he's going to be president someday, and I'm going to vote for him. See, Dick had, when I was independent, I still am today, I don't care what you are,
Yeah.
it's what you do. And he did, he became the president, and I followed his career all the way through it. Yes, I thought he was great.
And did you think that when he got shot, it was like a really sad thing that everyone all over?
It was terrible. I remember the day that happened. I was the lady downstairs, they just shot the president. Yes, it was horrible.
Do you think that it was as horrible as like the feeling that happened when there's the Cuban Missile Crisis? Like.
Yes, I think it was just as bad. All the people in this country felt terrible.
All right. Moving on. Probably up. I don't know. Do you remember the day that Neil Armstrong landed on the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Was that a really?
Yeah, it was thrilling, but it was something that was quite far-fetched. What year did that happen?
Yep, 1969.
Yeah, but it wasn't earth-shattering to me. I thought it was great, but I also thought that perhaps they should be spending that money on more needier things down here with the people that need it, children, education.
So, since that was kind of like the space movement and going to the moon, that was kind of like a first thing of the Cold War with the Soviet Union, did you think that that whole war was kind of stupid or not, didn't have a point really?
Exactly. Yes, I did.
Do you think that there still should be the Soviet Union, or do you think it's good that there's Russia now?
I don't really have an opinion on that. I'm not that well read up on that stuff.
That's fine. We'll get to an interesting question. What were your views on hippies?
Well, what are my views on hippies? We've had some in our family. When Steve and Pam were going together, I shouldn't say this is too personal, but that whole thing down in Washington when they went down to, go
Yeah.
against the government. Well, I didn't think that should have been done. But as far as being what is a hippie anyway? Someone that lives, they go against all the rules.
They're kind of just like a laid-back person.
Uh-huh.
Kind of, I guess,
Going against the government, the rules,
yeah,
and
they're just like rebellious.
protesting, and,
Yeah.
and a lot of drugs were involved.
Yeah, like they did. Do you remember Woodstock? The concert.
Very, very definitely. In fact, I just saw a documentary.
I'll pause this.
I got it for you.
Grab